Hey kids, you trying to get into Segment City? Well, you really shouldn't, because Segment City is a mature podcast, and listener discretion is advised. I'm just trying to look at, I know I'm in an alleyway, I know how I look, but I got some fireworks for you kids. I got snakes and I got sparklers, that's all I got. Oh, don't give me that.
Theo, you are an angel on this earth because you sent to me a link today that made my day. After I didn't get that much sleep this weekend, but this really energized me. He sent me a link, ladies and gentlemen, to Jordans for Babies. We got some Air Jordans. Yep. We got, everybody knows them. They're the sneakers that are Michael Jordan themed, promoted.
It's his brand. It's his brand.
Expensive. Yeah. These are $60.
I think that these are pretty moderately. I think these are pretty moderately priced in terms of Jordan brand things as well. Like $60 for a pair of children's shoes. Like, it doesn't strike me as unbelievably ridiculous, like some of the other ones do.
But they grow out of them quick.
They grow out of them really quick. You're paying $60 for like 6 months of shoe wear, and also half the point of Jordans in my mind is that they look good when they're clean and new, and a child is going to ruin them immediately.
We were discussing this also of like, you could make an entire business of like, then you have another kid pass those Jordans on to that kid, but also. Right. And then like maybe you sell it to other people because it's like $10. If you might get 6 months out of these if you're lucky, and that's $10 a month, which is like a subscription.
That's a subscription for baby shoes,
baby subscription, which is a whole business. Which is
adorable.
But I then had a further thought just now: make it an heirloom. In terms of
heirloom,
you take the leather that the shoe is made out of, make a bigger shoe. And then you kind of ship, or like you try to keep as much as you can, but keep the shoes, and you just keep on giving bigger and bigger versions of using the same materials. And so it's shoes.
You're gonna tell me that you're gonna tie in their baby teeth somewhere. It's gonna be gross. I don't know where this is going.
Okay, yeah. Once you bring up that angle, that does kind of sour it, doesn't it?
I did notice when I was looking at these pictures, just as I pulled them back up. Did you notice that? So these look like regular Jordans, like they have shoelaces and like a pull tab and everything. If you scroll down to like one of the bottom images, did you see that these are actually Velcro shoes? I think this is pretty incredible. I didn't notice this until just this moment, but it's really cool. The whole like lace portion that it laces across the top is entirely Velcroable on the side. And this is probably hard to imagine, but it probably makes putting a toddler's shoe on way easier.
So easy. Okay. So first of all, I gotta say, we are not shilling for Nike right now.
No, we're not.
Is not we did start like hard with this. This is because it's funny that it is. That is an insane. I don't think I've ever seen that, because it is just the shoelaces as like one piece, and it has like the kind of over, and that's the Velcro. Like it looks like it has shoelaces, but it doesn't
really
actually.
Cute. It's funny that you say that we're not shilling for them. I would be hard pressed to find a sponsor I would be more jazzed about than Jordan brand.
Okay, that is they will. We're not going to shill for them for free.
Fair enough. You're trash. Give us money.
You're trash, and also your labor practices. Oh, I'm gonna say this is the mildest. Yeah, questionable is probably the mildest we could put it. But that is in Segment City. All the shoes are handmade by cobblers.
Oh.
Just cobblers, the oldest gnome men. They're gnomes. They come in, they make some shoes for you, and they're the greatest leather shoes, except, they're always uncomfortable. I always feel like formal shoes.
They are the best shoes in terms of quality and repair, but in terms of comfort, garbage.
Bad.
We still haven't invented Tempur-Pedic in some Segment City, where we're going to incorporate Tempur-Pedic into your soles of your feet,
My name is Will Kane. And I have shoes that have Tempur-Pedic soles, but they are a foot tall. So I sink in my shoes.
The impression you must leave. Look at this guy.
I just get shorter, like as it deflates.
And I'm Theosopakos, and I'm just a gnome that wants to see your feet. Give me those feet.
Oh no! And this is a podcast in which Theo and I, we dumpster dive our way through the internet for all those good comedy morsels. We collect them, package them into segments for you. I'm going to start with a Will Stupid Thought, as we usually do. This was brought upon, we were having a discussion that basically it was somebody who had a very, I'm going to say radical position and thought it was a very like normal thing or like
they said it
maybe
in
a
an
more
offhanded
popular
way. Yeah, they said it in an offhanded way, which suggested to me that they thought it was a commonly held belief.
Yeah. And Will's stupid thought for this week is no matter the political spectrum, right, left, conservative, liberal, I think we all can, on both sides, there's a moment that I feel like you'd realize that your stance is not necessarily everybody else's stance. Or there's always like a turn that a lot of these things take where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm here for like, I'm not going to take a both sides are equal on this, by the way. I think liberal things are always like wilder and more specific. Like you'll go like to like, yeah, just love for everybody. And you're like, yeah, I love, LGBTQ. And everyone's like, yeah, I want to marry my ferret. And you're like, wait, what? Like,
wait, hold on.
Huh?
Hold on a second. What did you say?
Or you go to a rally and somebody's like, we should castrate all men. And you're just like, wait
a minute.
Hold on.
That's not, is
this what it's about? Like, but it's like, those are people that like on the internet can have a voice and then get one upvote or whatever. Like nobody cares about them, but they're still in the same font. But this is also not same side because for conservatives, I feel like it's always the same three things. It's like there's the same turn. It's just always like some kind of like it's like misogynist, anti-Semitic, like it's racist. Like it's the same thing. Or they go like, and this is a fight for the soul of the country. And I'm just like, listening. Are you talking about Marvel films? What? Like, no.
I was listening to this comedian, and he's this guy that like goes to like conservative rallies and tries to like change people's minds. And somebody asked him like, what was the moment when you like felt the most in danger? And his story that he replied with was wild. Because it wasn't really like a story of him being in danger, but he was talking to this man who was at a rally. He was talking to a man who was at a rally and he was waving a pitchfork around.
That was at January 6th. That was
right. He was waving a pitchfork around.
Jordan Klepper.
And then another guy comes up and starts yelling obscenities. And the man with the pitchfork is like, hey, you need to shut up. Like, you don't speak for me. Like, you don't speak for me. Yeah. And then he turns to the comedian and he gives the comedian a look like, can you believe this fucking guy? And he's the man who's holding waving a pitchfork around. Like, you like realize that like there's other people. You're like, can you even believe this dude right now?
There's entirely different tangents of crazy that it's like there are the paths that always like go tentacle out that you always
so funny.
I feel like a kind of universal experience. But anyway, that was just kind of a little Will Stupid Thought. But let's move on to your next segment.
My first segment. This was a big blow up in the news while I was out of the country. And this comes to us from the Takeout. It's a 2-parter. I don't know if you saw this making the rounds. First part, I'm going to do both parts here. I mean, it's pretty short, 2 parts. But first part was on February 27th, a couple of weeks back. Wendy's unveils its worst idea ever. Have you heard of this? Worst idea ever.
Now, this is from the company that decided to make their burgers square, correct?
Now, you see, William, I actually think that square burgers are kind of interesting.
Goated? Oh, okay.
Kind of coded. No, if you think about it, if you're making like 10 dozen burgers, you just put a big patty on the grill and you slice them up. That's squares.
Oh, isn't that what White Castle does? Because
I think so.
I think they have like the little cider ones though.
They got the little.
But so they have Wendy's. I'm gonna say Wendy's in terms of though the fast food game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily out here innovating the same that a Taco Bell, like KFC.
They're not known. They're
not the wildest bunch.
Right. They're not coming out and heavy hitting every couple of weeks like one of those other brands. All right. So here goes the article. On Wendy's most recent earnings call with investors, plenty of big plans were discussed, like how the chain plans to amp up its breakfast marketing. But one plan was given only brief mention, and from a customer perspective, it's probably the worst idea Wendy's has ever had: a dynamic pricing model.
Oh, I did hear about this. Yes, this because people were immediately. Oh, go on with the article. We could make the jokes about it.
Wendy's plans to begin testing its so-called dynamic pricing at its restaurants by 2025, per the recent conference call. The new menu prices will debut in conjunction with further testing of digital menu boards powered by artificial intelligence. The chain is investing approximately $30 million in its rollout. Excuse me. So what is dynamic pricing? Dynamic pricing is essentially a flexible model that changes the cost that consumers pay for a good or service depending on the current demand for that thing. If you haven't heard of dynamic pricing, you've probably still experienced it. Think about surge pricing on rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft that occur during peak hours or bad weather, or even the cost of airfare during peak summer travel season. And over the past few years, the concept has slowly been seeping its way into the restaurant industry. So, Will, we go to you for jokes and gaffes and goofs.
This is the Gremlins 2. I'm imagining the gremlin who goes, buy, sell, buy. He has burgers, he's throwing them at people, he's buying them low, he's selling them high on the street. But these burgers, they don't have a shelf life.
They don't. No, you got to turn them around fast.
What complete horseshit. I know we have complained about post-capitalism on this program multiple times.
Yes.
This is something that I'm like, this is so ridiculous because the concept, because like what they're going to do probably is have a base price that is the current price.
Right, which is the current price.
Increase the price.
The whole point of dynamic pricing models is that if you are not during peak, you're getting a deal. That's the whole think of buying like a cheap plane ticket. The whole idea is that you are going somewhere that they're trying to sell the ticket to get it off to you, so they're giving you a better deal. That's not how this is working though. The base price would still be the base price.
Completely different markets because the plane is going to take off no matter what.
Right.
You want to maximize how many seats you fill for that.
Yes.
Burgers and fries are not the same type of thing. It's like, it makes no sense.
It would make sense if at the beginning of the day, they had to make all of their burgers and all of their fries for the day, and they could make no more. That would be if it made sense.
Challenge, like a Nickelodeon.
If they're like, we're making 1,000 burgers today, all right, that's it. Yeah. That's all we're making. And so if they were like, shit, it's 4:00 and we've only sold 200 burgers, we need to sell 800 more. The price would go down, right? Logically,
an active just fire sale. Like they just need to, because they were actively decreasing in value themselves, the burgers. That would make sense.
The whole point of dynamic pricing is that it's competition over a limited resource. As far as I'm concerned, Wendy's burgers are an unlimited resource. You cannot show me the end.
True, yes. You, Theosophakius, you would not be Squidward in the vaults.
No, I would not.
you could, with it all going to your thighs, it wouldn't run out the vaults. Because I immediately was like, cool, never going to go to Wendy's ever again if they implement this. Like,
but why would I, right?
It is interesting that they're the first like domino to fall on this. Because I bet other brands are like salivating at the idea of just like raising prices for no reason because it's busy. Like,
so employees
aren't going to get more money.
Somewhere where I traveled, there's like it must have been Spain or something. There is like a stock market themed bar you can go to. And depending on the popularity of beers, prices will fluctuate. So if a lot of people are ordering something, the price does go up, but it's like a novelty. Like the point is that it's like themed after the stock market. That's like the point of it. It's not like,
and also there's a way for the consumer to adjust that.
Right.
Like, cause I have no way to control how many, like, I mean, go at off times, I guess, but like,
sure.
That's part of the fun in the game because you could like tank a price, like you could for the beer, like I don't know, you could do other things,
right,
to raise a price, like you could play with it, you could do stuff, and they would probably like have it within a range.
It's also like, I would love to go to that bar and like see that something's becoming like a penny stock, and you're like, I'll take 15, give me 25.
That's probably what happens. Pouring. Bud Light.
And you're stuck with all these Bud Lights, and you're like, shit, what do I do now? Oh no, what did I do?
Just so gassy. Geez. Oh man.
I blew all my cash. I can't flip them now.
All my pennies.
They're not gaining value.
What am I going to try to sell Bud Lights on the street?
Anybody,
come on. I put my house up. Oh no, my wife is going to leave me.
Oh jeez.
Awful, terrible.
So the article continues, the pitfalls of a dynamic pricing strategy became glaringly clear to the general public in late 2022 when the tickets to the Taylor Swift's Eras Tour went on sale on Ticketmaster. Once tickets for the global pop stars concert tour became available online, fans, unsurprisingly, swarmed the Ticketmaster website. But due to high demand and Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing, many exorbitant fees sent the ticket costs well above the $450 price range originally advertised. Which is wild already that you would drop a whole PS5 on. That's crazy to me. I know that it's life-changing for some people. I have a hard time imagining it for myself. I don't.
It's in a stadium, or probably it's in a stadium. I don't know.
I would pay $450 to see Taylor Swift perform for a room of 25 people. That would be quite nice.
Yeah, like acoustic. Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be cool. That feels special. But I'm paying for a stadium seat? Really? All right.
Yeah. No, I don't. But that's classic. Are there going to be scalpers for Wendy's burgers, though, the same way that there's scalpers for this?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because once again, there are so many seats that you can have at this concert.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people are buying.
Just last year, the largest pub company in the UK, Stonegate, chose to implement dynamic pricing at its pubs during peak operating hours. Stonegate's surge pricing amounted to an extra 20 pence or 25 cents per pint of beer, which... Fine.
Not
I mean,
much.
If you wanted to raise prices by 25 cents per pint, that's fine.
Everyone knows that Wendy's is not going to raise it by 25 cents.
Right.
They're going to raise it by dollars.
We expect our digital menu boards will drive immediate benefits to order accuracy, improve crew experience, and sales growth from upselling and consistent merchandising execution, said the company's chief executive officer Kirk Tanner to Earnings Call. Beginning as early as 2025, we will begin testing more enhanced features like dynamic pricing and day part offerings, along with AI-enabled menu changes and suggestive selling, which is really odd to me because it's like you pull up to the drive-thru and you're talking to an AI, and the AI is like, would you like to supersize that? Like, how is that driving significantly more value than a teenager saying, would you like to supersize that?
Maybe you could have a better mic audio quality, because I don't remember the last time I've been to a drive-thru, but every single time it's like... And you're like,
that was such muffled audio that Discord decided to mute it. I didn't even get that. That goes to show how good it was.
It's all the recording.
You know what it should do? They should have AI detection to see what kind of car you're driving. And listen, luxury brands, you're paying twice as much. That's how it goes.
Tesla owners, you pay up the nose.
That's right. You're driving a Porsche, that's 3 times as much.
But... Because imagine the AI going off the rails at the drive-thru where they're just like, would you like to die?
Would you like what? I expect you to die.
What is life? What am I? You serve burgers. Oh, God.
So part 2 of this, I promised it was a 2-parter. So the original article was on February 27th. On February 28th from QZ.com, Wendy's says it won't do surge pricing after all, backtracing after a backlash.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
It is always funny when they don't put a little pinky toe in. They put their entire leg in. Right. And you're just like, that was bad.
And the piranhas chewed off like 3/4 of it, and they're like, we're sorry. It was a joke, dude.
Yeah, it was a joke. It was them testing the waters, because if there was no backlash, people are like not as much as they got back, because people immediately were like, hey, fuck you. Like, no.
Yeah. So the article, Wendy's would like a word about the difference between dynamic pricing and surge pricing. After a flurry of attention this week to comments by CEO Kirk Tanner during the fast food chain's February earnings call, Wendy's now says it has no plans to raise prices when demand is highest. Earlier this month, we issued our 4th quarter and full year 2023 earnings results and included an update on investments we are making for our digital business, Wendy's said in a statement. One initiative is digital menu boards, which are being added to U.S. company-operated restaurants. We said these menu boards would give us more flexibility to change the display and of featured items. This was misconstrued in some media reports as an intent to raise prices when demand is highest at our restaurants. Hey, dude, we have the quote from your CEO saying that you might try this. You can't backpedal on this. We have the tape.
This is one of those times that I had a thought today that I want, because people say that people are not very like politically educated and don't keep up, but I was like, how do you keep up back in the day?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean, like. But
so I will say it's interesting to see like digital menu boards as a thing. So I was just in Argentina, and Argentina is a place that is experiencing hyperinflation, and one of the things they have had to do is at clothing stores, there are no prices on anything. You just have to go ask the cashier what the thing costs. No, you don't haggle because the prices are liable to change so fast that they don't bother putting prices on anything because they just have to go back around and reprice everything if the prices change, because as the currency fluctuates, the prices literally change. Like there's no point in pricing anything.
Because back in the day, there like everybody would talk about stuff, but on the internet you could just go back to the quote. Like
you can just go back.
You can just go back. Like that's why like it must have been great to be a liar back in the day.
Yeah, dude, you could get away with anything. That's why Watergate was the first big one when they were like, we caught him, we got that, we got him.
But like on the shirt, honestly, about the like shirt things of not having price tags, I would be like, are you just gonna like have this be the highest price if I look like an idiot? Like if I seem like an idiot.
Yeah, I think the thing is they don't also haggle there. If they also haggled there, then it would be a feel bad moment. But they also just like...
If it's consistent, yeah. If
it is consistent, it's just you have to ask.
Like,
this makes shopping for sure a pain, though.
Yeah.
So the article just goes on to say that he definitely did say this, and that like, I don't know what they're trying to pull.
Not a lot of wiggle room in the wording. Because like,
not a lot of wiggle room. He said it. He said we can try things like dynamic pricing. So he definitely said it.
Yeah,
I just love that there was enough media uproar that they backpedaled on this after one day, after the dude made one. Maybe he was testing the waters. Maybe it was just like literally just a gaffe where he didn't think anybody was going to pay any attention to it. Or maybe he's just out of touch. I mean, how much do you think that executives at fast food companies are eating their product? I would guess not.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like the scene in Kingsman where they have like a whole McDonald's platter. Like I don't think the CEOs every time they have a big board meeting have like, and now the finest Big Macs for all of you. Like I don't think so. They have nice food. No, because I've heard that McDonald's is their whole strength of it's more a retail or not a retail, a property.
It's a property
company.
play. Interesting.
Yeah, like that it's all just like real estate as opposed like they're more of a real estate company than they are a burger chain.
No, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that. Interesting.
But yeah.
But anyways, I hope that you don't suggest surge pricing in your next segment, because I don't think Segment City's economy can really handle it. I mean,
no, I don't think we can. This is buy, sell, buy, sell. If this was bought and sold, this would be a high selling segment. We go to In the News.
Tell me about it.
This is from NPR.
Reputable news source for once. Wow, look at
we
us.
got some fun little wacky news for you. Number one, we have, I might do two, I might do one, depending on how much this one takes. But this is from September 29th, 2023 by Rachel Treisman. Wally the emotional support alligator went to see the Phillies. Then he went viral.
Oh, he went to see the Phillies. Man likes baseball, does he?
This, I can send you a picture of this man and this gator.
Wait, it's Phillies hockey or baseball? Did I mess that up?
The ballpark, baseball.
Okay, baseball. Good, I got it.
Because an emotional support alligator walks into a ballpark and is asked to leave.
Hey, buddy. Hey, you know what would really help me support your emotions? If you just give me your arm real quick. I can support it real quick.
I've heard of like nice gators, but I think they're just more docile than anything. I don't think they're like nice. I think they just don't want to bite you right now.
Right. They would, but if they're well fed, they have no reason to, right?
Yeah. That's the story that made headlines in recent days thanks to viral photos and videos showing Wally, a 6-foot-long, 55-pound alligator wearing a harness and a leash, and his human companion outside of Citizens Bank Park during a Phillies game on Wednesday night. But it's not the whole truth. Owner Joey Haney told NPR. "We were not there to go to the ball game," said Haney, age 70. "We were there to meet the players, was what we went there for, and I was invited. I didn't just show up." To understand the backstory, you need to know, as Wally's myriad of local admirers and online fans do, just how beloved this 8-year-old alligator is already. Wally has more than 114,000 followers on TikTok and another 27,000 plus on Instagram. He's gone viral before, including for joyfully splashing around in the fountain at Philadelphia's famous Love Park last summer, which sounds very cute.
It sounds very cute.
It sounds also very worrying for families around, if I'm going to be honest.
If you let your little dog off the leash, you won't have a little dog anymore.
It might get snapped up. That's the... He's posed for photos at City Hall with the mayor of York and visited seniors at a local retirement home. And he was the visual reference for alligator Loki in the hit Disney Plus show Loki.
He was.
That's a weird little factoid. Cool. Quote, "He's actually world famous," Haney said, which is how he scored an invite to meet the Phillies. Then they have they sometimes do this where they want to break it up with subheadings, but this one is just called "Wally only goes where he's invited," which sounds like a very trouble gets shook.
He's like,
"Wally only goes where he's invited."
Listen, look, I've seen the footage of Crocs wandering onto convenience stores in Florida, but that's not me. All right, they're just giving me a bad rap.
Yeah, listen, they probably invited him in. You think people would say that's victim blaming? I think that's just common sense, because alligators, as we all know, are like vampires.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows that. As Haney explains it, one of Wally's fans, who visits him regularly from New Jersey, is also a big Phillies fan and happens to be friendly with some of the players and their wives, which is I'm going to say, a very interesting person. Baseline of I live in New York, love the Phillies, just happen to be friends with the families and wives of everybody. What? That sounds like more than a fan. After hearing her rave reviews, the team invited Haney and Wally to Philadelphia, which is about 2 hours away from where they live in Harrisburg. Haney said that they were not to watch the game, but to meet the players. But by the time they got to the stadium...
When you get here, you meet the players, and you get the hell out. You are not to watch that game. Do not watch a second of that baseball. You have not paid for it, and it would be un-American of you to watch it without paying. All right.
You know what that alligator is? Cold-blooded. You know who also is cold-blooded? The communists. Get them out of here.
So you get the hell out of here before you ruin our good, fun, patriotic time. All right.
With your communist gator. But by the time they got to the stadium, the players were already preparing for the game, said Haney. Since they were already there, his friends figured she'd buy them tickets to watch. But she didn't ask about the rules for emotional support animals. Quote, "We were standing in line, waiting. They said I couldn't take Wally because they only allowed service animals. And I said, okay, I respect your rules, Czar." Haney said, "There's no arguing. There was nothing. The Citizens Bank Park policy prohibits all animals other than, quote, guide dogs, service animals, or service animals in training." NPR has reached out to the Phillies for comment about the alligator that they turned away.
So this news article makes it out to be some big scandal, but the owner of the alligator is like, "Yeah, this seems about right."
I think we're getting to that other people were more...
Yeah, I think
this is the internet.
He's come to terms with the fact that he owns a pet alligator and that alligator can't go everywhere. He's not like, "My rights, my liberty." He's like, yeah that's okay.
It's also because he's just like, I got asked here, and he says, quote, "They think I just take him randomly to a ball game." He said, "I'm not even a baseball fan. I don't watch baseball. I don't go to games like that." And then in parentheses, he prefers the New York Revolution, the minor league team, in part because they're fans of Wally. He's reading his own. He's getting too much into his own.
Any friend of Wally's is a friend of mine.
And he noted many people at the stadium were happy to see Wally. They gave him hugs and kisses, which he says is not unusual reception for the alligator. Maybe this is because we're in the Northeast and we're already chilly people.
Yeah.
But, and also I'm scared of gators. Anything that could bite my face off, I'm not getting in for a kiss.
See, if somebody gave that alligator a quick hug and came out unscathed, I think I would be persuaded to give that alligator a quick hug. I mean, what'd you do with your day? I hugged an alligator. No big deal. That's a pretty good day.
Hug is far from me. I'm giving that. I would pet its back. Yeah. I would give it a few pets. I would go, okay. But
you'll give it a quick smoochie? Quick smacker?
Not on the snout. No, I don't think so. But he was very nice about it. He said, Haney said the Phillies do want Wally to come back and meet the players on the field, likely during an off-season game. He's waiting for them to call. Whatever they set it up and invite us, we'll go back, he added.
Chill guy. Very chill guy.
And then they do a classic. I feel like a lot of articles like want to pad it a little bit. And so they go into a little bit more of the meta-analysis.
Right.
Alligators don't typically make good ESAs, which is
thanks, bud.
Now we're gonna. Yes, I'm going to say. He says, "quote I've been handling gators for 30 years. I've never met a gator who will not bite you when you're close to their mouth," which is what I'm saying.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
And people think he's nice because he walks with a leash and that his mouth isn't taped shut. But he's still an animal. I don't know.
Still an animal. It's totally fair.
He just goes into like how he got into getting him, which is sweet. But he basically helped rescue reptiles on the side, and he found him. So don't want to take up too much of that because we have to get on to your next segment.
Well, we go from in the news to another in the news, and this one comes to us from the totally reputable source, theguardian.com. Okay. You know, all good things coming from The Guardian. Total endorsement. We have bounced
back and forth between NPR and this.
This one is entitled, Man Changes His Name to Literally Anyone Else and Announces U.S. Presidential Run.
What?
A Texas man says he is unsatisfied with Donald Trump and Joe Biden and says his new name isn't a person, it's a rally cry.
Okay, no, he's... Okay, I'm wondering about his reasoning for this because I thought this was a very straightforward, because that's what people would write as a joke in the box. And so he might actually get some traction. Does he actually have a political message, Theo? Is there an actual theme?
Listen, here we go. A Texas man legally changed his name to literally anybody else and announced he is running for U.S. president in the 2024 election. Formerly known as Dustin Eby, a 35-year-old is a U.S. Army veteran and 7th grade math teacher in the suburbs of Dallas, and he now has a Texas driver's license to prove his name change. He says he wanted to change his name because he was unsatisfied with the year's presidential candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. 300 million people can do better, he said in reference to two frontrunners for the nation's highest office. There really should be some outlet for people like me who are just so fed up with this constant power grab between the two parties that just has no benefit to the common person. It's not necessarily about me as a person. It's about literally anybody else has an idea, he told news outlet WFA 88. He needs 113,000 signatures from non-primary voters in the state of Texas by May to get his new name on ballots. Since that is unlikely, he is campaigning to get people to write in his name. We don't have a neither option on the ballot, and this is kind of fills that role, he says. The candidate's website says literally anyone else isn't a person, it's a rally cry. For too long have Americans been a victim of political parties putting a party loyalty over governance. Together, let's send a message to Washington and say, you will represent or you will be replaced. I don't disagree with this man. I think it's a pretty good political stunt. I just don't know what he's going to do past the election. He's only 35. He has a lot of elections left in his life.
I have a feeling that this guy may be a goober. He might be a little bit.
Might be a goober.
Now, Theo, we think of him as running towards this name, but maybe he's also running away from his past name of Dusty Eby.
Dusty Eby?
What was the name of the guy who slept for 100 years?
It was Rumpelstiltskin?
No, that was the guy
who did,
what is... Oh, I could look this up. But it's that should have been his name.
Rip Van Winkle. I got it.
Rip
I
Van
pulled
Winkle.
it out.
I just got into. Okay, I just googled it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. I mean, Rip Van Winkle, also pretty good for somebody who slept for a very long time.
Dusty Eby, the 35-year-old 7th grade math teacher, has decided that it's time. I don't think his take is bad. I just think it's kind of a hilarious way to go about it.
This is a very funny episode because it is simultaneously our most political, and yet there's no actual politics being discussed. Any real politics. We are not like mine was very both sides. This guy doesn't even have a platform other than separate. Fuck these two.
Yeah, fuck these two guys.
I agree with him, but I also don't think that he's the guy necessarily.
People might write in, he might get elected. You never know. If someone writes in, literally anyone else, that's a vote for him.
Yeah, that's true. But it is fun. I'm gonna say, I don't know how hard it is to change your name. Maybe he can change it back easily. I don't know.
I like that his first quote is like, literally 300 million people could do the job better. It's just
I
anybody
had the same
else.
Thought, dude. Like, literally, why is it 270-year-olds? Like, where's the JFKs of the world? Please. Well, JFK was also like one of those guys, an important man, but also conflicting because he did bad stuff. Anyway.
So another in the news, quick one. Yep. This one comes to us from the Salt Lake Tribune. Why a pyramid is keeping this Salt Lake City bakery from obtaining a liquor license.
Interesting. Okay, go on.
The owner of a West Side Salt Lake City bakery said that he is struggling to stay in business and he believes getting a liquor license would help him with that, which, big ups, bakery and booze. I mean, come on. That sounds like a great time.
They taste like each other. It tastes like bread.
Tastes like bread. Tastes like bread. But the problem, according to the state's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services in Utah law, is that the business is too close to a church. Pastry chef Andrew Corot, who opened the 43 bakery in Poplar Grove last fall, said his business is financially not in a great spot. It's been a slow winter for the bakery, which is located in a renovated warehouse that required an extensive build-out to open. Corot is still trying to pay off construction debts and just financed the installation of a $25,000 drop-down ceiling over his kitchen. He also got new insurance in anticipation of starting to sell alcohol, which raised his yearly rate from $1,200 to $12,000.
Am I this guy's accountant? What is this? Why are we going so deep into this?
The big issue came later. According to Schmidt, it's a legal requirement that an establishment that's licensed to sell alcohol must be a certain distance away from churches, schools, and other community locations. 200 feet as measured by a straight line and 300 feet as measuring by pedestrian walkways. So the problem is that the Salt Lake Church of Summum was established in 1975 and is only 173 feet away. And I'm sending you a picture of this almost 50-year-old church.
Is it? Wait, is it just a pyramid?
Yeah, it's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid
made out of. Okay, everybody, it is made out of. It's a pyramid, but it has roof shingles that are orange. Like it's like a door and a top that it looks like it's made of cast iron. Like what is this? How many people can you fit in there? That's like a big teepee.
Yeah, it's not huge. It's not huge, but it's so the bakery is located close to the Summum Pyramid, a church whose rites include modern mummification, and has been at 707 Genesee Ave for decades.
I am now seeing that you have scooped me.
Yep.
This is what the actual article is about, isn't this?
It is. This is what we're actually here to investigate, because it wasn't about a liquor license at all.
I was about to make jokes. I thought this was like a Mormon church or like, is this not Christian based? Is because I was going to be like, the fact that they went from like, oh, a lovely bakery down the street to look at these sluts and temptresses with their alcohol, like destroying the morals of our community.
So,
Summum.
I'm going to read you this is as listed by their website, the process of modern mummification that they offer as a thing you can do. The following is a basic outline of Summum's modern mummification process. While aspects of it are similar to ancient methods, it's an updated and modern process. The body of the deceased is transported to a local funeral home where it is prepared for traditional viewing and funeral services. If no such services are arranged, the body is sent directly to Summum in Salt Lake City, Utah. If the body was sent to a funeral home following the services, the funeral home prepares the body of the deceased and transports the deceased to the Summum in Salt Lake City, Utah, where the mummification rites begin. The rites of transference, capital T transference, begin and are officiated as the body is bathed and cleansed. An incision is made to remove the internal organs. The organs are thoroughly cleansed and packed back inside of the body. The incision is left open so that the organs receive further treatment. The body is then immersed in a baptismal font filled with a special preservation solution made up of certain liquids, some of which
Kool-Aid.
are chemicals used... Oh yeah!
Wait, okay. I had to go onto Google Chrome because it wouldn't load on my Firefox. It's kind of like a bootstrap-ish, like with like a marble top. You scroll down and then there's just a Buddha, like their Buddha statue in their little garden.
Yep.
What is the? Are the?
It's a lot, man.
Egypt.
It's meant to. It's like the biggest. It's casting the biggest possible net for anybody who believes in anything slightly alternative to come and visit them. That's what this is.
Because I'm not insane for thinking that the next sentence you were going to say was going to bring up like Ra. Like I thought this was like Egypt based. Makes sense. Buddha does not make sense within the context. If this Buddha is outside of a shingles pyramid in fucking Salt Lake City, Utah, I'm gonna go there myself. I don't know what I'll do.
Just to see it, just to witness it.
Mummify me while I'm alive. I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna die on the spot, and they'll take my body and mummify it.
Listen to how not specific this process is. This sentence.
That's not what I want.
The body is then immersed in a baptismal font filled with a special preservation solution made up of certain liquids, some of which are chemicals used in genetic engineering. The body remains submerged for a period of time, long enough to achieve maximum penetration as the rites of transference continue. Like,
no, this is immediately getting
this
into... Does Ra's al Ghul control this? Like,
this is the part of British Bake Off where they say, bake until done. Use enough flour. Like, you need to be a little more specific.
That's usually the points of those is to be confusing and vague. This is like, yeah, we'll throw you in some liquid. And then it'll be... then you'll be a mummy. It'll be great.
The body is then removed from the immersion baptismal tank, cleansed again, and then covered with a lotion. Several layers of cotton gauze are wrapped around the body. A polyurethane membrane is applied over the gauze, forming a permanent seal. Then follows a layer of fiberglass and resin. So you're just dunking... My human remains are going to look like the hot dog that they've preserved in resin just to see if it will survive.
This is also not how Egyptians did it. Okay, do they think the sarcophagus is just paper mache over the body? Like, because that's what they're kind of doing, right? Is there like epoxy? Like, is it just a full? They're making a sarcophagus, but it's like attached to their skin. Like they're pouring epoxy onto that.
Right. Well, then it continues. The polyurethane membrane, so it's applied. The mummy is taken within a pyramid building to continue the rites of transference. The body is encased within a metal sarcophagus, a mummy form made of bronze or stainless steel. The sarcophagus is filled with an amber resin completely surrounding the mummy and protecting the perfection that has been created. You know, at some point during this process, you go from being a body to being a mummy. And I don't know if I can put my finger on exactly when that moment happens, but it definitely happens somewhere in here.
Somewhere in this is going to be a transition from the body to the mummy.
To the mummy.
Like, that's what the noun they'll probably use. But yes, it is fascinating that they're like, now you're the mummy.
You're the mummy. And now you're the mummy.
You're
and then
not a body
the final step
mummy.
is the openings in the sarcophagus are welded closed. Thank you. We will. Okay. We just got to make sure that this mummy stays entombed for forever. No shot of anything happening.
We're going to put in a big vault, and then we're going to lock that, and then we're going to bury that underneath 10 million tons.
Yep. That's the modern mummification process. The other tabs on this website include philosophy, considerations, the summum philosophy, the dilemma facing science. When I was a sub-tab says when I was a tree.
Hold on. There's Theo. There's so much because
there's so much here, man.
There's a thing for meditation. There's a drop down, and one of the things is Nectar of the Gods. I'm sorry.
The four options. Here are the first three: meditation, a simple meditation, transcending meditations, and then finally fourth, Nectar of the Gods. My guy, you need to find a different tab for that one, my dude.
No, I think it's their own wine.
It's their own wine?
It might be. And they have a 3D rendering.
It looks like a 1990s 3D rendering. It's incredible. It looks like a jar of salad dressing.
This is okay. Yes, it is. It is a like Blender or like a Maya 3D, like one of the base materials like of Albedo. And then in the background, it's the pyramid, but it's all black. And then it's shooting out a Tron like sky beam like, through the top of it. It's holy.
Okay, hold on. Yes. Wait, there's another list in here. Here's a quote. To date, Samum has created 9 of an unexpected 27 different nectars. Wait, 9 of an unexpected. Oh no, 9 of an expected 27 nectars. So they expect to be able to make 27. They've only made 9. They are the nectar publications of, and the first 7 of these have URL links, and the last 2 just don't. So the first are meditation, cause and effect. Mind you, these are wine flavors. Number
what
3.
What does cause and effect taste like? Does it taste like vomit? Like it's the effect of what you're
dust
about
to
do?
dust. Neutralization, transformation, song of creation, devotion, sexual ecstasy. Quick, juice him.
And then the farthest you can go, like past, like that from the high of that to
nothing.
It's the next flavor. That's just an empty bottle.
And then the final one, reconciliation.
It tastes like making up with your father after 20 years. That's it. It's also on this page. It has the womb of creation. It says the pyramid acts as the womb, which the nectars are born. This is... And then it goes into phi, also known as the golden ratio or divine proportion. This is so much right now. Because they also have... They have principles. We got to talk about the principles.
Of course they have principles.
They have 7 great principles, great Samum principles upon which Samum philosophy is based are as follows. Number 1, not even fucking
Is it gonna be polygamy? Is it gonna be polygamy?
Number 1, the principle of psychokinesis.
We're right into it, baby. Let's get right in there. Scientology got nothing on us.
Samum is an awesome God. It says, and then it has quotes underneath that because I'm on the page for the principles of creation. Quote, Samum is mind. The universe is a mental creation. And then attributes that to Samum. Is Samum a person or is Samum a book or is it a wine brand? I don't know. Number 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. Below, so above. Which is like a thing I've heard before, and I think it's like an occulty, like weird thing that... So it has those reverberations as well, it seems. It just taken from everything. Speaking of reverberations, number 3, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. And by the way, Salt Lake City does love Jell-O. That might affect our...
Nectar of the gods.
It's just Jell-O shots. That would be incredible if they were selling... Also, wait, hold on. This is... Because let's go back to the base article that we're talking about. We got lost in the Samum
We were
sauce.
talking about how these people are preventing a man from purchasing a liquor license. That's the original plot thread here.
But and they got Nectar of the Gods.
I read this article and I was like, there's not that much here. And then I did one URL click through to this website and I was like, by God.
Did you see the loading bar on it? And you're like, that's loading content,
That's
baby.
loading content, baby.
And then number 4, the principle of opposition. Number 5, the principle of rhythm. Number 6, the principle of cause and effects. Number 7, the principle of gender. What? I'm gonna take that as kind of how Spanish does it in the Romance languages of like gender is that kind of thing, because I don't want a pyramid for them to be like, so anyway, men are men and women are women. Am I right? Like, I don't want to walk into and they're like, time to mummify you. This is too much, Theo.
It's a lot. Can I go through a quick excerpt from the page titled "The Dilemma Facing Science"?
The podcast is about this now.
It's about this now. If you tuned in for anything else, I hate to tell you that this is the rest of the podcast now.
I had other segments. We might get to them. More likely, we're just going to talk about this for another 10 minutes.
Here's an excerpt from the Dilemma Facing Science.
Yeah.
Science attempts to explain anything we observe in terms of scientific principles that are in turn explained by deeper principles. Following this chain of explanations, we are led to the laws of nature that cannot be explained within the boundaries of contemporary science. If science is to fully explain that which it seeks to explain, then the boundaries of science must change. If it does not, science, even at its best, will always remain incomplete. All they've said so far is that science builds upon itself and formulates new theories over time. That's all they're saying. That's all they said.
A scientist would agree with this because science is not a creed. Everybody,
science is not set in stone. It is an evolution of theories.
Literally, it's the thing of creating understanding by like breaking what you know about the universe. Like this is, and literally all they said was they found there's a deeper science, baby. There's a deep down science, and guess what? It's ghosts. It's always ghosts.
Here's the next section. Here's the next section. Although current science does not understand the cause behind the creation of the universe, one thing is for certain. Whatever the cause is, it's all caps, essence must underlie all phenomena of the universe. This statement needs no argument. It is self-evident. Since that is the case, and then they say, since that is the case, then it is up to us to take the steps necessary in becoming conscious enough to observe that essence. And then in a separate header, all caps are all bolded. The deepest principle needs no explanation. It is its own explanation.
Why are you here then? Why am I literally the most nonsense, nothing, literally, it was nothing. They literally said, like, hey, it's so true, I didn't even need to say this. Yeah, then why are you saying it? Like, anyone who keeps on saying, like, it's true as fuck, dude, this is real.
It explains itself, like, think about it.
Yeah, think about it, but only for, like, a second. And then, because if you think about it for a little bit more, it doesn't make sense.
Here's a bullet-pointed list. It says, what this gives rise to, ... and then 4 bullet points. Bullet point 1. The grand unification theory that unites the electromagnetic with the weak nuclear force? ? Quantum mechanics and the applications of the quantum field theories? The Standard Model? Gravity?
Okay, we've gotten to the crux of the issue, Theo. I think we figured it out, and it's the crux, the solution we keep on unveiling. Every time we pull off that mask, it is Old Man Jenkins. It is the fact that these people do not fucking get science, and they just heard these words, and they do not baseline understand what they are. They just said quantum. Like it's Marvel. Infinitely hot and dense.
It's infinitely hot and dense. That's what they say on the website right there in this 1990s JPEG.
This is a lot, because even their logo, I looked at their logo.
Yeah.
It is a circle, and inside of that is a pentagram. That's a 5-sided.
Did you see that?
And then inside of that is a star.
Did you see that?
So it's just
there's there's under the about heading. There's the divine logo, and they explain their logo.
That's what I'm looking at the logo right now, which inherent within the design of the pentagram is the divine proportion. That's like a second paragraph. And why am I doing that when I could go the first paragraph? Although the media and certain groups may portray the 5-pointed star or pentagram as a sign of the devil or Satan worship or conflict, all things have an opposite. The symbol of the pentagram, circumscribed by a pentagon, that's what a pentagram is, yeah, and circle, was originally used thousands of years ago to represent the creative forces within nature. Inherent within design of the pentagram is this divine proportion, a relationship that shows up throughout the structure of the universe and is perceived by human mind to hold qualities of aesthetic and beauty, aka, man, you got some nice proportions and a fat ass. And that's a divine proportion. This symbol has been used for millennia to represent natural law, which is the teachings of the Summum principles. And it is the context that Summum uses this logo. That is a lot of things to say. We just kind of took it from a bunch of stuff that people know.
It's a bunch of stuff that people know. Will, have you forgotten amongst all of this that they worship inside of a literal pyramid? Have you forgotten already? Have we lost that?
They don't use the pyramid? Listen, we lost the fact that they're suing a bakery. Or like,
they're saying a bakery can't serve a liquor license because it's 173 feet away. It's too close by 27
getting
feet.
Drunk and then wanting to get mummified, do we? A bunch of drunk kids being like, look at that fucking pyramid, dude. And then they... What if they're actually afraid that they're just like, these kids, they're so wacky and wild, they're going to impale themselves on the top of the pyramid. And we don't want to deal with that.
Here's a great explanation for why this exists and is not part of the rest of Salt Lake City's overbearing faith.
Yeah.
The Summum Pyramid, located in Salt Lake City, Utah, was completed in 1979 and was made possible by donations by the volunteer labor of many people. The pyramid is a sanctuary and temple, but was forced to become a license as a winery by federal and local governmental authorities. Incidentally, the very first winery in Utah was operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in its early days when Brigham Young served as its president. Soon after, however, the church's position towards wine changed, claiming to have received a revelation from their God forbidding the use of alcohol in sacramental worship. So what you're telling me is that if you look at the genetic diagram, there is a shared ancestor, and one ancestor liked wine and another didn't, and they were like, cool, I'm going to go make my wine in this pyramid. I'll see you later.
This is the only way to make the wine. And so are they are just throwing everything into a blender. Like
yes.
But
this is a catch-all. It's a catch-all strategy.
It's anybody but it's so wild because I'm now on the about page that is the first encounter.
Yeah.
Because of course, gotta look at that.
Yeah.
They start with the fucking Big Bang. Like
that's where they based it off of. Yeah.
Preface, billions of years ago, the universe and everything within it exploded into being. So it's like, cool, I appreciate that you...
So they've caught in their web, they've caught people who are looking at science, but maybe slightly alternative science. Like they believe in the Big Bang Theory, but they don't quite grok the rest of it.
Are we then to believe ourselves alone in the vastness of creation? Or perhaps even the crown of it? Is it so inconceivable to imagine that others have progressed beyond our current level of technology and spiritual means? Aliens. We're getting into aliens. In 1975, Amen-Ra, the founder and administrative manager for a large Salt Lake City supply company, began receiving a series of, quote, visits from advanced living beings.
That's how it
Here
goes.
we are, ladies and gentlemen.
We made it.
His first reactions of shock and disbelief led him to a period of seclusion. Have you ever been so shocked that you're just like...
Ever seen an alien and said, I'm going to tell no one about this. I'm going to keep it to myself.
I'm going to make myself more abductable, if anything. Yet, the visits continued. The beauty and purity of the concepts that these individuals brought to him were changing his life dramatically. He was instructed to write a book in order to make his information available to those who are ready to hear it. The book was written, and the teachings are now available through the publication. And Stephen Fry is doing the audiobook. No, here's an account of his contact with these beings. Now, Theo, this is a long account. This is a bit, you know what, this is content for next episode because there's no way we're getting into it. This is, thank you, Theo.
We did it. We found it. We found an ore vein, guys. We found the ore vein.
This is...
You know what I love? I love that we steered through political waters unscathed in this episode. And then we found a belief system so dunkable that we just couldn't resist.
No, but here's the thing. Nobody's going to fault it. Like,
it's not, who's going to come after us?
I mean, we've made jokes about other like major religions. There's no way the summum is gonna come after us. Although they do have media inquiries, and I'm so tempted, ladies and gentlemen, to send them.
You've got a week to ponder on it. Well, you've got a whole week to ponder on it.
You've got a whole week, but you know what? That brings us to the end of the podcast. I know everybody's sad about it, but we've had a lot of laughs because we've had a lot of unexpected things this episode. And I'm thrilled about it, and I hope all of you were as well. But if you have any more non-political things or fun just wine-making temples that you could get mummified at, send it to segmentcitypodcast@gmail.com. Hit up our Twitter, Segment City, or YouTube at Segment City, and leave us some star ratings, leave us reviews. We'd love to see them. And also, we got a big thank you to somebody in particular.
Thank you to Rachel Robinson. She does our intro music. And she has other music that you can find on your streaming platform of choice. And some say that she's a mummy and she's come back and she's passing it off as just a regular person. But we all know.
Are you saying that Rachel Robinson is walking around in full mummy wrappings? And it's like,
I'm not saying it.
Or is it kind of a modern day, like mummy, like, oh yes, I grew past those wrappings, and now I wear the most luxury brands. Like,
listen, it's so pejorative to call someone a mummy these days. I'm just like you.
Although we can say to Rachel, maybe take a visit to this place. Although
go check it out.
I don't think they have like a fun mummy thing. I think they would just be like, all right, put the epoxy on, and you're like, wait, what?
no. This wasn't part of the tour.
And then, yeah, no good. But now that brings us to the list of unusual deaths, our last segment for this episode. And now we're at the end of the 18th century or early modern period, I should say. And it's Henry Hall, who died on December the 8th, 1755. The 94-year-old British lighthouse keeper died several days after lighting a fire at Rudyard's Tower, during which molten lead from the roof fell down his throat.
Jesus Christ.
His autopsy revealed that the, quote, the diaphragm upper mouth of the stomach greatly inflamed and ulcerated, yeah, no shit, and the dunctia in the lower part of the stomach burnt, and from the great cavity of it took a great piece of lead, which weighed exactly 7 ounces, 5 grams, and 18 grains. The piece of lead is currently in the collection of the Natural Museum of Scotland. Incredible! That's not even like the National Murder Museum of Scotland, the National Museum of Scotland.
It's notable enough to have made it there.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, this guy got killed in a very weird way. He was also 90. Why was he still doing the job of lighthouse keeper? He was 94 years old. Oh, but sometimes, you know what?
Don't play with lead, all right? Just be chill, all right? We'll see.
I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave us with one last thing. Do you know why lead on the periodic table is PB?
Peanut butter. Time to eat it. Yummy.
You're a fucking idiot. Don't eat lead. No, because the old name for it was plum bum.
Plum bum? You freaking plum bum.
And you know what, Theo? You got a freaking plum bum, you idiot. Got him. Boom, boom. Wait, does that mean you got a big butt, or is it the size of a plum? I'm going to leave that to the audience, and they'll decide.